Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. You are the projection. Everything you've ever done, everything you see around you right now, everything that you own, everything you don't own, everything that you have, even what you're wearing right now is a projection. It's your projection. You are the projection. Your physical flesh is the projection. Our entire lives we've essentially been taught and told essentially the emotion or energy around the word projection is this negative thing, like, oh, you're just projecting. Oh, you're projecting onto people. Yes, we all project. If you can truly understand what I'm about to share with you, you will be able to create the life that you desire, the life of your dreams, literally, because it is the dream that creates the reality in the 3D. Okay, so have you guys seen that image of the iceberg where at the very top, that's where your conscious awareness. Now, when they say conscious, they don't mean consciousness, because underneath is what we would call consciousness, or what psychologists call the subconscious. But we want you to become more and more conscious, okay, as in consciousness. So the upper part is really your ego that's thinking, okay? So let's call the upper part your 3D physical body. And the car you have or don't have, or the money you have or don't have, the physical things in the 3D. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to suspend for a moment all your beliefs and thoughts around anything and everything right now. I want you to just, okay, here's what I want. I don't want you to believe me. I'm okay with that. All I want you to do is understand what I'm about to tell you. Now, actually, let me grab a picture of that. Hold on. Now, here's what I want you to understand. Now, this, by the way, is not a good depiction because the top is only about 1% of what they're showing on the top. So the very, 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 very tip. The rest of it is underneath, and it's much, 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 much larger underneath the surface. Okay, so I want to start here. So the energy that you're seeing underneath here, think of it as this is the energy that creates. Okay, like emotions and feelings and atoms and electrons and molecules and particles and all of that stuff. When you concentrate it together, you have the 3D physical creation of it. Now, what I want you to imagine is that you are at the tip of a V. You are the concentration of the thought. The thought is the energy. The thought creates the form of the energy. So you are the concentrated form of the energy. As above, so below. The above is this energy I'm talking about. The above is your imagination. The word imagination comes from the root word image, like a picture, like an image. All you have to do is image what you desire. Your imagination is the steering wheel. Okay, so when I come down across the Golden Gate Bridge coming back home, I come into Sausalito. So there's a big hill that goes down from there, from the Golden Gate Bridge, down at Sausalito. It's about, I think, 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles long. It's pretty long, and there is a good mile of it that is just steep, and you get going, okay? Now, you've got about 4 feet between the white line and the barrier, you know, to keep the cars from going off the cliff, right? And so there's a little strip that's right next to the barrier that's about 2 feet wide, maybe a little bit less, actually. And I like to ride on that because it's really smooth. Now, I went down it tonight. It was dark, but I could still see the line, you know, where the newer, not cement, but pavement was put. And the way I steer it is by imagining where it goes, because my unconscious mind's going to so subtly steer the steering wheel, the handlebars, that I don't even notice. Now, if I try to consciously do it, I'll oversteer and I'll crash. Now I'm going, probably 32 miles an hour, maybe faster, probably 36, maybe a little bit more. I'm flying down this hill, and I cannot over adjust either way. I'm going to get into traffic, or I'm going to hit the barrier, and it'll be bad. So what I do is I visualize where I want my wheel to go, where I want me and my bicycle to go. And when it's going around a corner too on top of it, and then at the very end, you got to go over to the left, because otherwise you're going to go into this like dirt gravel kind of almost like tilted hill like part of it, and you'll crash. And the way I go over that without crossing the white line into the traffic is I just visualize it. I don't slow down at all. I am flying. Now tonight is Sunday, January 11th. Probably going to put this out on the 12th or the 13th. So I did it tonight. It's midnight right now. I got home about 3 hours ago. So it's definitely dark. It's January. It's winter. And so I literally imagine it. So I let my imagination steer it. Now here's the deal. You can't even tell you're turning. It just goes about 2 inches over to the left, and you're going super fast, and it's like, okay, well. And tonight, as I do most nights, I'm like, it's so funny because I'm doing this thing. I'm very aware of what I'm doing, versus when I used to race when I was a kid. It was kind of just an unconscious habit that I developed and got really good at. And this is when the coaches will say, man, you just got to feel it, whether it's football or baseball or boxing or kickboxing or racing or golf, or you just got to feel it. Well, what that really means is you've got to feel the imagination. You got to let the imagination guide your physical body. I and the Father are one. It's when you open the doorway from your forehead ego and allow yourself to open up to this entire energy, this spirit, this consciousness. And God is energy. God came down into the flesh of Christ. Just like Jesus says, the body is the temple. The Lord resides within the temple. The body is the temple of the Lord. Now here's how you do it. You allow that energy, God, to come down inside you to fill you up. As above, so below. The imagination is the above. The physical manifestation into the 3D is the below. So once you imagine it, feel it, it happens. Now the only rules to this are the rules that you make up in your head. The only limitations are the limitations that you make. There is no rule. There is no limitation. It's just what you made up and or accepted and or believe. Because here's the deal. Beliefs are manifestations. Now here's the image I use a lot on this channel. It comes from the manual for my course for men, Crack the Female Code. It's a V. So when you go out this way, you are going into the spirit world. Now, when you imagine something, it causes that to concentrate that energy into this funnel and go to the tip of this projector and project it out into the 3D world, just like a camera. This is the concentrated energy, so now it's physical, which means it's hard and concentrated. Cool guy glasses on. So look at me right here. I'm 57 years old. This is me after being ran over by a car, being drugged, poisoned, beaten. I mean, I've had so much stuff happen to my body. I played football in high school and college. I was a national champion in kickboxing, state champion in boxing, wrestled in high school, and also wrestled on the Division II wrestling team, which was 5-time national champions when I was there. I mean, I've been beaten. I've crashed. I've smashed. Here's the thing. I have a totally separated right shoulder right now, and I'm riding around and people have no idea. If you don't know what that means, it means my collarbone is completely disconnected from the end of my shoulder. There's zero connection, no ligament, nothing attached. I shadow box every day. I kick my legs. I do my workout, and the doctor told me don't do anything until you get your surgery done. No limits. Don't let anything stop you. It's all in your mind. My dad used to tell me that, and when I was a kid, I didn't understand what he meant. Okay, so here's the first thing I want to get you to understand. All you are, that car right there, the pavement, the sidewalk, the tree, the Golden Gate Bridge, the light post, the stop sign, it's three-dimensional symbology of creation. That's all it is. Forget about the manufacturing. Put all that stuff aside. I am telling you, you can manifest things because I've done it in my life. Here's the deal. Don't try to think that you have to be Jesus Christ right now. Think in terms of, I just want to have fun with this. I want to see what I can do. Manifest a $5 bill or $2 on the road. Cash or coins, doesn't matter. Just imagine you come across this money, you find it, and boom. One of the manifestations that I did once I started getting really good at this is, because I was like, man, is this just coincidence that I'm writing this down and manifesting this? Or is this real? And I said, God, I need to know. And what was it? I think it was $400. So normally I think I was charging my clients $250. And I imagined somehow, some way, I was going to get exactly $400 later that day. Period. End of sentence. Not 440, not 420, not 397, not 399.99 cents. No, $400. Client comes over. We finish this session. It's probably about 7 o'clock at night. He's like, all right, I'm going to go. And I'm thinking, damn, didn't work. He goes to my door and he pauses. I'm like, oh, shit, it's going to work. And he goes, hey, Mike. I'm like, yeah. He goes, do you want more money? I'm like, what do you mean, for what? He goes, do you just want more money? I'm like, well, yeah, why not? He goes, follow me to the bank. He pulls out exactly $400. Concentration. See, everything is a distraction in life. So when this whole lockdown thing started or right before it, God sent me this message over and over. It's all a distraction. It's all a distraction. And I would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning going, what's a distraction? And it was just like all of it. So I was on the bus. So it's wintertime. When it's wintertime, I tend to take the bus because it's freaking cold. So I'll ride my bike a certain distance, cross the bridge and back. And then I catch the bus because if at nighttime it's cold. But anyways, so I'm on the bus. And this bus lady was so happy and so nice. I thought, God, what a wonderful woman. What a wonderful person. And I felt good, really good being just around her. And I noticed she opened her little window. We were in the parking lot before we took off, and she looked over at someone who worked there. Oh, hey, how's it going? And then there was a guy came to the door on the right. Oh, hey, how's it going? And then a person came, oh, hey. And it was like she was so distracted. And I realized that's it. That's it right there. I forget where it says in the Bible, but it's like, that's your reward. You can have anything you want in life if you just understand a basic principle that I'm trying to get across in this video. So here's the deal. I'm thinking of a cashier who, all he does, and I don't mean this in a bad way at all. All he does, he goes to work. It's not hard labor. It's very easy. He has a chair to sit down. He basically bullshits, talks to everyone, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with any of this. And then he goes home. And that's it. Watches TV, he eats, but eventually falls asleep, wakes up in the morning, starts all over again. He doesn't work out, he doesn't go to the gym, he doesn't have a friend, he doesn't have a social. I mean, the guy does nothing. It's like, so what do you do with your time? So I came in one day, I had a great ride from the Golden Gate Bridge and went all the way back to San Rafael, and I was, just exhilarated and just feeling good. I was getting in really good shape. And he goes, man, where'd you go today? I go, I went to the Golden Gate Bridge and back. He's like, man, he goes, I wish I could do that. And I'm looking at him like, why can't you? I mean, you've got the money to buy a bike, because he lives in a place where he really doesn't pay much rent. He has plenty of spending and money, et cetera, et cetera. And it's someone he's known for a long, long time. And I remember just looking at him like, well, why can't you? So normally they got that side open, but they're working on it. Because that was his belief. His belief is, why I don't have any time. I work 40 hours a week. What the hell do you do with the rest of your day? Now, I've known this guy for years, decades. Almost decades, but not quite. And he does nothing. I talked to a friend of his. He goes, he has no friends, Mike. Because this guy's known him since school. He goes, he has no friends. He does nothing. Here's my point. I'm not knocking the guy at all. I'm using this as a really good example. Your beliefs are your manifestation. Your manifestations. Period. End of sentence. A belief is a concentration. It's something that you're concentrated on. And here's what most people would do. Even if their belief is holding them back in someone, and this is what I did. I looked at him and said, well, why can't you? And he kind of looked at me and he said, well, I can't. I'm like, well, why not? And he said, well, here's the thing. I actually work more hours than this guy. And I'm looking at him, so you can't ride your bike twice a week? Like, and that's what I said. I go, why not? He doesn't even have a bike. He could get one if he wanted to. But here's the thing. Here's another part of it. He probably doesn't actually want to do that. It's kind of like, well, it'd be nice to do, but I'm not really in the mood to do it. Or that's not really my thing. And that's okay. And here's another really important lesson. Do the things that get you fired up. Do the things that get your desire going. Because now you're going to concentrate your energy into those things and thus create it. Now, here's another thing that is that are manifestations. Your goals are manifestations. The goals that you really want are the ones that you manifest. The other one's like, well, I'm supposed to buy a house. I don't really want to have the responsibility of owning a house. Don't really want to start my own business either. I mean, I'd like to. See, my little sister pulled this on me a long time ago. I just won the fight to become ranked #1 in the United States in the IKF in kickboxing. Okay? It was the next morning, and my shins were bruised, but man, I didn't give a shit. I was so happy. I felt great. And I walked into the living room area, and she just looked at me. She says, man, I wish I was like you. I'm like, what do you mean? I want to be a champion fighter. I'm like, well, then do it. Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, and I'm like, Amber, I've been asking you to boxing and kickboxing practice for over, I think at that point, it was like 15 years or something. I go, you've never gone once. I've tried to get you to go for jogs and do your push-ups and sit. I go, you never want to do it. And then she goes, oh, I don't want to go to practice. I don't want to do that. I don't want to jog 4 or 5 miles in the morning before I get up and go to school or go to work. And I'm just like, then you don't want to be a champ. She goes, no, I want a championship. I want a belt. I would really like that. I'm like, no, you don't really want it. If you really wanted it, you would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and jog 7 miles after you did 150 to 200 push-ups, 150 to 200 sit-ups, 150 to 200 jumping jacks, and stretched for 30 minutes intensely, and shadow boxed for another 15 minutes intensely till you broke a sweat, and then you'd run those 7 miles like your life depended on it. That's concentrated energy. And you only really concentrate your energy when you really want something. That's why you should only do the things that you really want to do. Now, here's the thing. There were a lot of things in boxing and kickboxing that I didn't want to do. But I did it anyways because I wanted to win so bad that those things became the enjoyable things to do. I think Mike Tyson said something like, you've got to want something so bad that doing the most worst, horrible thing in the world is like the funnest thing, it's the most enjoyable thing that you could ever even imagine. It's like those things that you thought were mountains or irritants or whatever became the very things that you thrived on and you couldn't wait to do the next day. Because you overcame the fear, or not even the fear, but just like the pain of it or the boringness of it, to where you turned that into the cornerstone. It became the building block. So here's the deal about manifestation. You can literally just manifest something. Now, I was never lucky finding money, but my brother Gary always found like $150, $200. Now, this was back in the 70s. Nowadays, that would be worth like $500. I think $250 back then compared to now, probably worth maybe $1,000 US if you look at, the interest or whatever you call it, the value of the dollar and all that stuff. So the point being is like, that guy was finding, he would find $50, $60, $40. And I'm like, man, like, why does this always happen to you? Right? So I remember about 12, 15 years ago, I just wanted the $20 bill. Just because I could find a quarter, a nickel, and a dime, and a penny. Maybe even a couple of them at the same time. But I never found $5. I never found $10. I found $2. $2 bills. And I really imagined it. And then here's the thing. I thought, well, okay, whatever. And I got up and I think I went and watched TV for a little while. And something said, hey, go for a walk. It was late at night, like midnight or something. I went for a walk, and just like I imagined it, right in the middle, on the center of the right side of the road, was a $20 bill. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just walking. I was probably about a mile away, going around this big, like 6-8 block thing that I used to walk. And it was right there. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And I knew before I even got close enough to see what it was. I go, that's a $20 bill. I know it. And you might not think that how is $20 bills like a high motivator? It wasn't the money. It was that I wanted to be able to do it. All right, I'm going to try to make this really, really simple. It's this simple. You may not believe me, but it is this simple. Okay. When I was a kid in high school, we had graphic arts class. Okay, so you made like business cards and flyers, and you got to use the printing press, the printing machines, and you got to take pictures. And you go into the dark room, and you would take the negative. What did I say? The negative. That's an important word. Negative. Negative is good. So essentially, you take the negative, put it in this machine, and then it would make an image, like a piece of, not a piece of paper, I forgot what it was called, the material. And you would have to take that and really quickly put it under the solution, like it was like a pan or like a sink. And you'd have to put it in it, and then you'd watch until the contrast, like it went from nothing, like a plain white kind of not piece of paper, but you get my point. And the contrast would slowly come, and you had to time it, and you had to pull it out, and you had to put it into the next thing of fluid, which was water, and it would rinse it off, and then you would hang it up without touching it so you don't ruin it. And that's how the negative becomes a positive. The negative creates in the 3D. So you have to create the picture. You have to take this snapshot. You have to create the negative first. Now, for those of you who weren't born before the year 2000, you might not actually know how old-fashioned cameras worked. We had a little roll of film in it. It had little squares in it. You would take one picture, and it would go bzz, bzz, and it would move over to the next blank one. Click it, take another picture. Bzz. Now you had a roll of negatives. You'd bring them into like Walgreens or a store, and then what they would do is they would take them and then turn them into pictures. So because I had graphic arts, I learned the process of how you do that. So first you have to take a picture. Another word for that is image, imagination, image, a nation. Yes, absolutely. The word imagination comes from the word image. I began to realize that my imagination was the steering wheel of my creations, the steering wheel of creating my life. All right, so let's imagine that you set some goals, but only the goals that you really, really, really like, that you really want. Not the ones like, well, I need to lose 15 pounds. I really don't give a shit, but everyone says I should. I don't mean those goals. I mean the things that drive. Now, for some of you, there have been times in my life where I really, in fact, I went through a phase about, earlier, it was last year up until about the 8th or 9th month, and I lost a ton of weight, and I was like, oh my God, this is so easy. Because I know the little tricks to it. And yes, there is a discipline behind it, but when you really want it, that discipline becomes easy. So here's the deal. Your goals are projections, especially the ones that you really, really like. Okay? Your beliefs are absolutely projections. These are the things that you're creating in your life. Whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. Same thing with the rules that you live by, the values that you live by. Now you have to remember, all of these things are just made up. When you go all the way back to the beginning of creation, the very first day before any human being was made, there were no rules. There, see, a lot of you, oh, well, God says this. God, I've heard people say so much shit that God said, well, show me in the Bible. Well, you just know. No, that's a rule that you made up for yourself. You live by it. So the Jehovah's Witnesses are always up at the Golden Gate Bridge, and they rotate them. They have like a whole system where they do it around the Bay Area. So there's this groups of churches or whatever they're called, and they're around the Bay Area, and they take shifts and send different people every week or every 2 weeks or something like that. And I always walk up to them. I almost did it today. I thought, nah, it's getting kind of old. And I'm not doing it to be mean. I'm really doing it to enlighten them. Is like I walk up, it's like, most Christians, Jehovah's Witnesses included, don't actually believe. They say they do. The words coming out of their mouth, but their actual belief, they don't actually believe what Jesus teaches. Like, oh, no, I do it. Like, no, don't say that. Don't lie to me. You don't. You really don't. And there's always two of them or more. And they get really quiet. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, do you really believe what Jesus said? Well, yeah. I'm like, really? I don't think you do. I've never met a Christian yet that really believes the teachings of Jesus. So I say, may I read something out of your Bible? Your Bible, not mine. Yours. Like, well, yeah, sure, here. And I start flipping through in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and I find one that says, Jesus says, if ye believe, you shall receive whatever you ask for in prayer. And he's, and he's looking for an argument to fight against that. You either believe or you don't. And then I said, as Jesus said, and I'm reading it out of his Bible, if ye say unto this mountain, throw yourself unto the ocean, and it shall be so. Do you believe that? Well, and they kind of hem and haw, and I forget the third one that I read off, but the guy came back with like, well, yeah, but it says in, I forget what I think it was Isaiah, in the book of Isaiah, it says, well, how did he say this? If the Lord willing. So now he's finding something in the Bible, something in Scripture that he can view as an excuse. So I said, so what you're saying is that you don't believe that if you believe you shall receive whatever you ask for in prayer. He goes, well, I didn't say that. I'm like, you didn't say you do either. You're looking for excuses in the Bible. So here's my point. I didn't say that he should hurt people, that he should damage people, that he should steal, that he should, imagine something of catastrophic, what. I'm just saying, like, do you believe that this is true? Now, here's the thing now. I'm not saying you have to become a billionaire. I'm not saying you got to suddenly heal people's broken bones. I'm just saying, like, well, what would you do with that power if what Jesus is saying is truly true? Because you're really going to get good at things that you really want to do. And that's all he's saying. I'm not saying you got to walk on water. I'm not saying you got to turn water into wine. But I bet if you really, really wanted to, you would get the faith eventually to make it happen. I'm also telling you, if you truly, truly, truly wanted to do that, you would, and it wouldn't take 10 years to do it. You might do it the first time because you really believe it. So there's something called the law of reversibility. The universal law of reversibility is the foundation on which its claims are based. What do I mean? If your speech creates vibrations, vibrations can create speech. If friction can create electricity, then electricity can and does create friction. If heat can produce mechanical motion can create heat. And by the way, all of this is true. We already know this. We've known this for like a long time. If electricity produces magnetism like a magnet, then magnetism too can develop electric currents. This is the world that we live in. I don't just mean the physical world. I mean the dimensions, plural dimensions, that we live in at the same time. This is the law of reversibility, or another way of saying it is the law of negativity. Everything reverses. When you take a picture, the negative creates the positive, literally and physically in the 3D. Here's another reversibility, which is really what it's all about. This is it. You ready? Thoughts are things. And things literally are thoughts. I don't mean this metaphorically. I don't mean this kind of as a storytelling. I mean literally. The shoes you're wearing have literal thoughts inside them. The computer is nothing but a bunch of thoughts combined together. Now you think, yeah, they had thoughts and they thought they would build a memory card and make it bigger and more powerful. No, that's not what I mean. I mean the thoughts are inside that memory card. The thoughts are inside the encasing of the computer, on the screen of the computer. They're inside the molecules and electrons and atoms. And the particles, what do you think particles are? Particles are the thoughts. No, the thoughts are the arrangement of the particles together. The thoughts grab the particles and put them into a form. It's really simple. I'm going to make it really simple. It's like if magnetism can create electricity, electricity can create magnetism. It's the law of reversibility. Now, we already know that. If you've gone to science class, you already know this. If you have a YouTube channel, you already know this. The only limitations we have are the concentrations that we've created. Beliefs are concentrations, and thus they become manifestations. Values, rules, goals. These are all just projections. Projections are manifestations. You are already a master projector. Now start projecting what you want. How do you think I heal people? Here's the funny thing about that. It's the easiest thing in the world. It's mind-blowing. It's easier for me to heal other people than it is myself. And I can't really answer that question. But I have admitted over the last 7+ years, probably not 7+ years, 7 - so in the last 7 years, I've healed quite a few things on my own body. And I've been really, because that was one of my biggest stumbling blocks. And I'm still working on some things now. I had cancer on my cheek. It was flat out growing, and a friend of mine goes, dude, you need to go to my doctor. He gave me, because he just had it, some taken off of his nose. He goes, I'll pay for it. You need to go now. I was on the way, and I thought, you know what? I'll make an appointment after a week. I'm going to do some energy healing on it, because I realized I had never done energy healing on it, because I didn't think I could do it. I thought, let's do it. And I dove deep into it. Boom. It literally told me, it's not like I heard a voice, but something was like, 9 days it's going to fall off like a scab. It's just going to fall off. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. Don't pick at it. That's the one thing it was saying. I do not pick at it. I didn't pick at it. It literally fell off the 9th day like a scab. And it was just like skin that hadn't seen the sun for a while. It was just like very white, very pale. Another thing was I had these little bump things on my eyelids. I had them all like 5 or 6 on one side and like 7 to 9 on another, and they were really bothering me. And I thought, I'm going to do this. I got rid of all of them except for one. And then I had this bump from the accident on my head. It was like this like, because of the injury, like would grow these fat things underneath and would grow this bump, and it was just like, it was gross and it was ugly and it was pussy. And I had it for like, I think 9 years or 10 years, and my hair cutter would like, oh Mike, geez, and you have to cut around it. And then one day I thought, well, why not do that? Boom. I didn't get rid of it the first time. It took about 3 sessions, 3 weeks or a little more, and then it was gone. And I forgot about it. And now here's the funny thing. Now watch this. Whenever you do something like this, and it works and it's done, even things like beliefs that you used to have, you'd be like, I never believed that. Why do you think you came in last week? Really? That's why I went in there? Okay, so then why did you come in? I don't remember. Because once it's gone, it's gone. So for the longest time, I had a really hard time believing that I was an energy healer. And I'd have clients go, what are you talking about? You totally healed me of this thing the doctors couldn't fix for years. It's like, yeah, that's right. But it was like it wasn't real in my mind for some reason. And here's the thing. It'll happen to you too. It's like once it's gone, it's gone. So I go to my hair cutter and he goes, hey, where's that bumpy thing you've had all these years? I'm like, oh, yeah, I did energy healing on it. And the same thing like with my eyes, because I told him about the eyes, and he kind of rolled his eyes, right? When I told him that. He goes, oh, you used some ointment. Like, no, I'm telling you. Because none of that stuff worked. I tried that stuff for years, probably 10 years. And the thing on my head was, I had my doctor lance it, meaning cut it open and pull all the fat cells out. And my doctor goes, hey, these are notorious for coming back. Well, we did that 3 times, and that fucking hurts like a son of a bitch. And he had to stick the needle in me with the injection and numb it. And man, that's what hurt, was that damn needle in my skull. And so I didn't want to do it again. So I was like, oh, I'm just done with this stuff. And then I healed it. Now, my hair cutter knew about that because I went in one time when I had stitches in there still. And he knew about my doctor trying to pull it out 3 times. It kept growing back. Now, here's the thing. I actually forgot about it. He goes, hey, what happened to it? It's like, oh, yeah. He goes, you go to your doctor again? I'm like, do I have stitches? He's like, no. I go, you're not going to believe it. I did energy healing on it, and it disappeared just like the things on the eyes. And that's when he goes, wait, are you sure? I go, I'm dead serious. I'm not joking. Everything we've been taught from Buddha, Jesus, and Spirit, it's all real. All of it. There are those who shall do greater things than I. Jesus Christ. You know surgeons that do amazing things like brain surgery or bone surgery or, neck surgery or shoulder surgery? Those guys are doing unbelievable things. It's the same thing. It's a manifestation. Haven't you noticed how concentrated these people are? Like they're on the Olympic level, man. Or an artist that is really, really good at their art. Or an architect. Think of an architect. Imagine what it would take to create the magnificent buildings that we've been creating over the last 30, 40, 50 years. Okay, I got one. There's a guy in Napa. I don't know if he's still alive, but he was my savior. His name was Dr. Glenn Hughes. He was a physical therapist. This guy was good. So I went to Vintage High School in Napa, California, Napa Valley, wine country. And he was our physical therapist. So he would show up sometimes he'd show up for practices and then he would show up for to tape our feet before the games, and he would come to the game with us, and he was on the sideline with his assistants. And I remember anytime I got hurt, well, you got to go into the office tomorrow, and he's going to do physical therapy on you, and you got to go every day for an hour or however long. It's going to do, put the gel in the electrostim or whatever they use. And I just remember just healing. Like, it was fast, it was easy, it was smooth. It was, I didn't really know any different now here's the deal. I was spoiled, but didn't know I was spoiled. So eventually I graduated, moved away from home, and I played sports in college, and then I got into kickboxing, and we had our own physical therapists and different team doctors and stuff. And I remember man, I'm not healing as fast. I'm like, but I'm so young. I'm only 20 years old or 21 years old. It doesn't make any sense. Why am I not healing as fast? And then what happened was I was older. I think I was 30 some years old. I damaged my shoulder, had surgery, and I went to Glenn Hughes because I was so worried about my shoulder. The damn guy healed it in a matter of sessions. It blew my mind. And I'm like, oh. It's because he has that something special. Time and experience isn't just the thing. Because there was another guy I went to who was, he was in his 50s, had been doing his whole life, graduated from college and started immediately in physical therapy. And he just didn't have it. His heart, what did I say? His emotions, his feelings, his heart, his desire was not in it as much. Glenn was like a healer because he was. Here's the funny thing. He used the same gel. He used the same, I can't remember the thing you rub on your leg. It was like an electrical pulse, kind of like light pulsation, but whatever it was, then when he did it, you healed. It didn't matter what technique he was using. You healed. This other person didn't do much, didn't really work. Same thing with chiropractic. I used to go to Dr. Berardi, him and his dad in Fairfield, California. Man, those guys were good. And I mean, just amazing. And then when I moved away, I went to one chiropractor. Man, didn't do anything. Went a couple times, went for a while, still didn't do anything. And so I drove all the way back to Dr. Berardi, went to him 3 times, boom, fixed. Right? Then a year later, I had to go to another chiropractor. So I went to another one, was in a car accident. And this guy, after 8 sessions, like, man, I was still in massive pain. Again, I drove all the way about an hour plus to Fairfield, California. And I only had to go to him like 3 times, and boom, it was completely done. And I'm like, what is the deal? Because these guys, it was their heart, it was their soul. This is what they wanted to do. You know how people tell you, like, oh, you have to believe? Not with me. If you come to me for healing, you're going to heal. Period. End of sentence. Done. Because I believe. You don't have to believe. I don't care. It won't affect it at all. You come in with a desire, this is what I want, this is what's going on, we're going to get it. It's kind of funny because it's the easiest thing in the world to do for me. It's the least pressure. In fact, there's no pressure. It's like, oh, okay, I'm on it. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say. It's easy. It's easy. It's like, okay, let's say you asked me to go to the grocery store and get you 2 lemons. Okay, fine, no problem. I'll go do it. And I'll do it every time because it's easy. Now, for some reason, I'm horrible with names, memorizing whose name, but whether it was Peter or Simon or whoever. But remember when Jesus was walking on the stormy water and the hurricane was just like blowing the boat, and they're afraid they're going to get tipped over in the ocean or the sea, the Red Sea or whatever they were on, and they're like, who's that? Oh my God, it's a ghost. Like, oh, it's Jesus. And so whoever's like, if you command me, I'll be able to walk in the water just like you. And he said, come. And so he gets in the water and he starts to walk in the water. Do you know why? Because he believed that Jesus could do that. The goal is for you to believe that you can do that. That was the whole lesson. See, life is a gift. A gift of what? Whatever you want. Do you want to be an actor, an actress, singer, dancer? Do you want to be a world-famous architect who builds and designs the greatest buildings in the world? Do you want to be a fire department chief, the chief of the fire department one day? Do you want to be the chief of police? Do you want to be a general in the military? What do you want to do? Go do that. There was a time when I absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, absolutely had to be the state champion in boxing. Period. End of sentence. That's what I wanted. That's what I was going to do. That was it. Done. Now, in the beginning, I didn't know I was going to have to get up at 4:30 in the morning and jog 5 to 7 miles in the morning before school. I didn't know I was going to have to do I didn't even think it was possible that a kid could do 200 push-ups within so many minutes. I didn't know that was possible. I didn't know it was possible a kid could do that many sit-ups. I didn't even know that was required. I didn't know. I didn't care. All I know is I showed up to boxing practice and I was out of shape, and we had to do this run. It was a 2-mile run before practice to warm up. Yeah, that was the warm up. Man, I was already exhausted after that. Then we'd have to do our calisthenics, our push-ups, our sit-ups, our jumping backs, our burpees, all these different exercises. And then we had to stretch for like 20 minutes or whatever they made us stretch. And then, we had to work out on the heavy bag or pads or spar in the ring. And man, I got tired. And so after about a month or so, I was like, well, coach, what can I do? He's like, well, do you jog in the morning? I'm like, No, why? He goes, you don't jog. He goes, dude. He goes, you got to start running. I'm like, okay. Well, I started the run. I ran about a mile before school. Didn't really help much. Then it was 2 miles. Then it was 3. Then it was 4. Then it was doing 50 push-ups and actually it started probably about 20 push-ups at a time, and I did 3 sets. And then same thing with sit-ups and same thing with jumping jacks. And then I'd stretch and then I'd run. And then it went to like 40 and then 50 and then 60 and then 70. And it was just like I was doing like sets of like 50 push-ups at a time. Like literally 150. I was a little kid, like 9, 10 years old. But my point being is I wanted it so bad, I didn't even realize what I was doing until one day I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning because I was going to do all these push-ups and sit-ups and jumping jacks, and I was going to run 7 miles before I went to school. And then I would do my homework before I went to school too. I did my homework at breaks. I did my homework and my studying at lunch. I pushed myself to the maximum. And then after that, I did my paper routes. And then after that, I went to boxing practice. And then when I got home at night, I did my homework till about midnight. And my friends are like, come on, Mike, let's go skateboarding. Nah, got to do homework. Come on, Mike, let's go skateboarding. Nah, got to go to boxing practice. Come on, Mike, let's go swim at Timmy's. Nah, I got to jog. Come on, Mike, let's go to the park. Nah, got to do my paper routes. I was focused. Do you want to know what the real secret is? It's one thing, that's all it is. Desire. What do you want to do? What do you really want to do? Go do it. Everything will fall into place because you want it so badly that you will literally do whatever it takes. Because instead of skateboarding, you want to do this because this motivates you way more than hanging out with your 2 negative friends who are always whining and complaining and can't figure out why they're not happy. And like, "Rah." That's what these guys were like. And I was like, hell no, I'm going to go do this. I really want to do this. And that's what happens in your life. When you start following your desire, start following your passion, do what you want to do. Now you might be 35, 40 years old, you can't compete in sports, or maybe it's something that you used to do for 10, 15, 20 years ever since you were a kid, and you're like, I just don't want to do it anymore. That's fine. What do you want to do now? Do it. So one of Tony Robbins' seminars I went to, I think it was Date with Destiny. This was probably my 3rd or 4th seminar of Tony Robbins I went to, and we came across this thing called life is. Like, what is your life is? Some guys say, well, life is a pain in the ass. Well, life is a bitch. Life sucks. Life is this. Well, guess what? Have you noticed that's what your life is like? They're like, yeah. Well, change that to something that you want. So he brought this lady up on stage, and she was obviously a jazz dancer. The way she held her spine, you could tell this lady was a dancer. And he goes, what is life to you? She goes, oh, life is a dance. And her whole energy came alive. And that's the way she walked through life. Like life was a dance. Even communicating with people, working with people, she saw everything as this dance between a couple, between 2 people. And that's the way the interactions were like being with her. They were energizing. There was this flow, this movement, this naturalness. And I don't mean we were physically dancing, but just having a conversation. The conversation itself became a dance, a rhythm. And then he called someone else up, and they're like, oh, life is a blast. And the guy goes, what do you do? Do you do things like downhill skiing and this? And he goes, oh, yeah, I do, but I do extreme stuff. And he goes, see? And he started talking about these extreme skiing things and extreme motorcycle jumps and all this stuff. And he competes at the extreme motorcycle events. And the guy was extreme. And that's what he believed life was. Life was a blast. And then there was a couple more, but this one lady came up and she said, oh, life is a vacation. He laughed, and everyone laughed, and I kind of went, wow, I would love to have a life like that, because my life was stressful, and I'd won a lot of trophies and done a lot. Like, oh my God. So I remember he was like, so he gave us a couple different things, like write down your beliefs, write down your values, write down your rules, and write down your goals. He goes, and on top of it, write down life is, and then put it down. Now, I remember he was interviewing the lady, or not interviewing her, but, talking to her, and she goes, oh, well, things just seem to fall into my lap, and I met someone, and, they had a hotel in Hawaii, and they let me stay there for free, and then, I got this free airfare round trip, so that was free, and she goes, that's just the way it works for me. Life's a vacation. So I took that on. Now, here we were at Palm Springs. The first thing I did after that night, for some reason, I just said, man, yep, life's a vacation, and I wrote it down, and that was a life-altering experience. Now, at the time, I didn't quite get it, because here's what happened that morning. I slept in. My roommate's like, Mike, you need to relax, because I was everything. I was getting up running at 4 in the morning. They're like, dude, did you really go? When I got back, at 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning, they're like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, I just ran 5 miles. They're like, it's not even 6 in the morning. What are you talking about? Now, the Tony Robbins seminars were going till 10, 11 o'clock at night, and one night they went till midnight, but I couldn't miss my run. And one guy was from, I think it was Cuba or Puerto Rico. I think it's Puerto Rico. He's trying to get me to drink this drink they make. It has coconut in it. I can't remember the name right now. But you've heard of it. It's a popular drink. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to drink. He goes, Mike, you need to relax. And my other roommate was like, Mike, you need to relax, dude. You're way too intense. So here's the funny thing. When I really took that on emotionally, that life is a vacation, the next morning I slept in. Even missed the first hour of the seminar. I didn't give a shit. I think I slept in till 10 in the morning. They're like, Mike, we got to go. I'm like, I don't care. Just go on, man. Remember, I did wake up before, and I could have made it, but I got some breakfast, took my time. I went and laid out by the pool, because Palm Springs, so it was the summertime, so it was actually late spring. But man, it was already 85 degrees outside. I'm out there sunbathing, went swimming, took my time, and I strolled in about 11 o'clock. And the funny thing is, you get put into groups of 12 and 15. And I think one of my roommates was in my group, and everyone in the group looked at me like, man, you look so good. I'm like, really? Because I was so relaxed for the first time. Since I was probably 8 years old. I'm not kidding. It was the first time I just didn't care. Here's the thing, though. Even the Tony Robbins seminar, I was doing the exercise just kind of very mellow, relaxed way. I was enjoying it. And that's the thing. That was a completely different perspective for me. Next thing you know, I go home and someone says, hey, man, do you want to go down to frickin' San Diego? I'm like, oh, no, I know what it was. I remember now. I got invited by Dr. Tad James' son. Because he said, well, hey, it's $250 per person. Do you have anyone you want to bring? I'm like, man, I can't afford that. I just got back from Tony Robbins seminar. I'm a college student. I only work part-time, blah, blah, blah. He goes, well, what if we lower it to $125 per person? I'm like, I can't afford that. I go, I'm broke and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, what if I lower it to $99 for both of you? I go, $100 each? He goes, no, $99 total. And I looked at my girlfriend. She's like, yeah, because to her, that was like a vacation, right? She didn't care about the damn seminar. She went, but she really went because she wanted to go to the beach. Now, here's the deal. They got us a discounted rate on the hotel room. She paid for the training and the $99 and the round trip tickets back then. I think they had a special of $99 round trip or something from San Francisco to San Diego, whatever it was. It was super cheap. It might have been $75. It was super cheap. So we're down there and we decided to spend the extra 2 days there. It was a vacation. And then so obviously they had you go to this 3-day training, but they're trying to get you to go to the big, $4,000 or $5,000 training, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, I can't afford that, man. Well, you're a student, right? I'm like, yeah, okay, well, you're in California. Well, you know what? I think I can make some phone calls. I can get you the money. I'm like, how are you going to get me the money? Well, they found some program, and I had to go talk to some guy. Well, what are you going to do with your life? And he asked me all these questions, and apparently I qualified. Well, they called first. Said, oh, he's a great guy. He's a smart kid, good grades, this, that. Well, it was pretty much a done deal before I even met the guy, but I had to go through some hoops, had to fill out some paperwork, blah, blah, blah. But I got the money. Next thing you know, I'm going to Hawaii for a 5 week, in my mind, vacation. Now, here was the really cool thing about it. You didn't have to show up to class until 1 o'clock. We went from 1 o'clock till about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. And then we would all go out to a club or we go out to dinner. So what did we do in the morning? We slept until about 9 o'clock in the morning, woke up, ate some fruit, and went to the beach. And the beach was right there. Now, this streak continued for quite a while. And one of the examples, I've got quite a few of them. One of the examples was I had a client fly me out to Washington, D.C. Now, you got to understand, everything was paid for, and I'm getting paid, like, I think I charged like $2,250 at the time. So I'm getting paid maximum dollars, everything's paid for, and on top of it, he showed me around Washington, D.C. and showed me all the monuments and all the stuff, and I was like, it was a freaking paid vacation. Now, there's a lot more stories than that, Kansas and a couple other places, but I think you get the point, is your I am or life is creates your life. These things create your manifestations. See, I am awesome, I am powerful, I am happy, I am joyful, I am loving, I am exhilarated. Create your energy, and the energy creates your life. That vacation thing meant a lot to me because I had worked so hard in my life. I was so stressed. I went on like a damn near, I think it was like a 7-year vacation basically. I mean, I worked and everything, but it was just, everything was a vacation. It was literally, I forgot I know there's another one. Okay, I got it. I met this lady, started dating a little bit. We didn't really hit it off, but she basically said, hey, I've got a condo in Hawaii. If you ever want to stay there for free, let me know. So I was like, really? She said, yeah, don't worry about it. It's cool. Just call me up. Then I got another client, Jeff. Jeff was like a world-class travel agent, right? He got me free airfare. He got me a free rental car. Now, I stayed there for, I think it was 11 days or 14 days. All I had to do was pay the taxes. So I think the taxes came up to be like $135 or something. I forget what it cost. For the whole trip, all I had to pay for was taxes for the rental car and then pay for the food. That's all I paid for. Now, there's more because Jeff, because he was a travel agent, he got a lot of stuff for free. So even though we live close to San Francisco, he goes, hey, have you ever wanted to stay at that big hotel on the top of the hill? I'm like, are you sure? I think it's called I forget the name, Mark, let me see if I can look it up. The Mark Hopkins Intercontinental. Then he got me a place to stay in Santa Cruz because I used to always drive down there, but I'd go home later that day and be exhausted. Like, man, I just want to go down there and stay just overnight one time. That way I can get up and get a shower and do this and eat and then go to the beach for a couple hours and then go home. And he was like, hey, how about if you stay for 2? So essentially, that's the way my life went for a long, long time. And I had some clients in Central California. They had me come down, stay at a hotel, did a training there, but it was just this constant kind of. And that's the thing about my business. It's essentially a traveling business. Even to this day, if I go do a training somewhere, in my mind, because I'm staying at a hotel, usually there's a pool, usually there's a beach or something there. It's a vacation. And for 12 years, I was going to NLP trainings, getting certified and trained. I mean, we're talking about like Orange County, California, San Diego. What's another place? Can't think of it. It's right above around Orange County. It's called Huntington Beach. But there was another place north of that. I can't think of the name right now. Costa Mesa. So we stayed in Costa Mesa. So we were there for 5 weeks, 2 times in Southern California, 2 times in Hawaii. We did another one in San Diego, another one in Pennsylvania. I mean, it was just like these are like 2-week and 5-week vacations as far as I'm concerned, because I loved training. I loved learning that stuff. And in the mornings until 1 o'clock, you could go swimming and then you could go shopping and, just do the tourist stuff. So here's the deal. What do you want to believe? What do you want your my life is to be? A vacation? A prosperity tour? Think about it. Can be, I'm telling you, you might think that's a joke, but I am telling you, your life will become a prosperity tour. Or you could say my life is a tour of prosperity. It doesn't matter. You get to make you get to. Okay, here's what mine, like years ago, because life was pretty stressful. I forget what it was, but I want to change my I am. My I am was I'm awesome. Period. End of sentence. And I knew that if I kept saying over and over and over and over, and everyone knows me, like, oh, that's the awesome guy. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Like, how's it going, Mr. Awesome? That's the way people talk to me now, because my energy became awesome. I think I forget what it was, but something about 7 or 10 years ago, a couple of my friends died. I don't think it was that though, but something was not right in my life. And I was really bummed out and I wanted to change it. So I changed it to I am awesome, and man, did things turn around. So here's what I did. I attributed anything and everything to that's because I'm awesome. I'd meet a really cute girl or someone that's really pretty, and my buddy would go, man, you're so lucky. I'm like, yep, that's because I'm awesome. Or I'd find $5 or, it could be, and here's the thing, it could be the silliest, stupidest thing. That's because I'm awesome. And here's the deal. After a period of time, my life started becoming more and more awesome. My energy, my emotions, my mood became better. You have to understand, everything that you do, believe, and think, I am, life is, your values, the rules that you live by, they are all projections, period, end of sentence. And projections are your manifestations. You are already a master manifester. You've been doing it your whole life without challenge. The pain, the problems, the suffering, the good, the bad, everything is a projection. Now start projecting your desires. That's the only difference. You can change your life starting now. If you have a problem, we can solve it. Get a hold of me at 415-235-2512. Or email me at mike@mikekollin.com. Remember, click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment. And as always, you can go ahead and make a donation. There's a PayPal link right there in the description box, or click the thank you button.